Hello, my name is Michael Garrick, and this is Popping Culture. My guest today is comedian Josh Bakes, very funny comedian. If he's in your city, please go see him. Josh is also the host of the Low Country Low Lives. Great podcast, guys. Please go support it. He's also one. I'm sorry. Do you own it or manage the Sparrow?
I manage it. I manage all the talent that comes in. Yeah.
Nice, guys. He has a full plate. He handles it well. And like I said, guys, if he's in your city, please go see him. He'll keep you laughing. Um, the topic he chose to discuss was Disney World and how it's influenced pop culture. But before we get into that, whenever I have comedians on, I like to ask. A lot of people like to focus on bombing, but I'm more focused on succeeding. So when was the first time you killed, and how did it feel?
First time I killed. Wow, that's a good question. I would say the first time is hopefully next week. No, let me think. I would say about a year in, I was in the Charleston Comedy Festival, and it was like a highlight of all the local comics in town. And I was really nervous because it was all the, all the just the killers. And I got an opportunity to be on the show, and I did really well. Like I was one of the better ones that night, and as far as audience reaction. And so yeah, I think that's the first time that I killed, I would say. Yeah.
Nice. Has anything you done before compared to that feeling?
Um, I mean, not really, because I mean, I used to my former background, I did a lot of theater. I did theater for like 20 years, both acting and directing, and it's a huge rush, but it would take months. You have, rehearsals and rehearsals, and then you do the show, and then it's over. But with comedy, it's like every night. You know what I mean? It's every time you go up. That, and then you have no one else to blame. You know what I mean? Like, you have no one else to blame if you do bad. You can't blame the other actors. Like, you're the writer, you're the producer, you're the everybody. So it's a rush that can't be duplicated, I don't think.
Nice. I'm so proud, man. Like my last couple guests have been given like these deep answers. Like when I first started the podcast, it was just sex. That's what that's what I compare it to. So,
Yeah. Well, there's a saying too that like you've probably heard this, like everyone's first joke at their open mic is they compare it to sex. Like, hey, doing comedy is a lot like having sex, and then they come up with something. And someone told me that once, and I was like, oh shit, because that was one of my very first jokes.
me too. Yeah.
Do you remember it?
No. It was definitely horrible, but people gave me pity laughs, so it was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pity laughs are nice. Um, yeah, I always love when someone's like, oh man, I crushed. And I'm like, no, they were laughing because they felt bad for you. You know what I mean? Like, they felt pity. That's the worst, when you get that awkward laugh, and it's usually that girl. It's like that real white girl, and she's and that's it. That's the only noise that you hear.
I love this. Anytime, because you say you manage, you book, you're big into that Charleston
Yeah.
scene. Everybody I've ever talked to, there's like it's you and Keith D. There's like you two guys really boost the scene. They give you guys a lot of credit, which you guys deserve. You guys put a lot of work in. But what I
Thank
was gonna say is like every booker I know, every manager I know, uh, just how you were honest a few minutes ago about like, no, you weren't funny. I promise you, every last one of you guys are just that dead on. Just like, no, it wasn't good. It was not good at
you.
all.
No,
No,
no.
just
I think we tend to use the word crush like way too much. Like,
yeah,
people say they either crushed or they bombed, and I'm like, I don't think you crush as many times as you bomb more than you crush, but like, those things rarely happen. Like, you can not do well. Like the night I saw you, I didn't do well. I didn't bomb, but I
no,
didn't do well. I certainly didn't crush. But some people, it's either they bombed or they crushed. And I'm like, no, you're not doing either one. You're just there. You
yeah.
know,
You can do okay. There's nothing wrong with doing okay. Like
there's
doing
nothing
okay
wrong
is
with that.
fine. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially like when you're the feature, like you're the guy going before the headliner. It's okay to do just fine. Sometimes headliners don't like when you crush. You go out there and crush, and they're like, "Oh shit, I got to do better."
Yeah.
Just go out there and do fine, make people laugh, and just get out of there.
Yes. I never forget my second time hosting. Uh, the manager at the club said, "Hey, buddy, just do okay. Like just do okay. No one paid any money to see you." And I was like, "Oh, all right." He was like, "Nobody even knows who you are." And I was like, "Thank you, sir. We can stop there. We can." We
You're like, okay, that's enough. That's
yeah,
enough.
I got
Please.
it. I got it. Like I get it. I'm
Yeah.
not on the flyer. I got it. Um, uh, last thing about it, you say you did theater. Did you have a
Yeah.
favorite play you ran?
Oh wow. Favorite play. I mean, I would say I did it's called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum, which is it's a comedy musical. And I hate musicals, but I was the lead, and I did the show twice at like 10 years apart as the lead. And it's just a fun show. Like I have it so memorized in my head because I've done it twice. So it's ingrained in my head. It's sad though, because I could barely memorize my wife's birthday, but I could remember lines in the show like the bong of the bell and the buoy and the bay and the boat and the boy and the bride are away. Like I remember that, and I haven't done that in like 15 years, but I could barely remember. It's July 27th, just in case she's listening. 1983. I remember your birthday, honey. But
Nice, nice. Good,
yeah,
good save. Good save.
yeah.
Um, did you feel like doing that helped you get ready for stand up?
Yeah, good question. I think it did. As far as stage presence, I didn't have that. Like, I don't get nervous, the normal nervous energy that some comics do. Like some comics are really good writers, but they're horrible performers. I think I'm a good performer and a okay comic. Like I'm trying to be a better comic, but I think the performance stuff I have down pretty like okay, to where I can more focus on writing and not having to worry about like, am I doing something with my hands, or am I, walking back and forth weird? I feel like I don't have to worry about that stuff, and I'm able to concentrate on the other things.
Nice, nice. From when I saw you, when I saw you, I thought you did good. When I saw you, I was just like, yeah, this guy's been doing this for a while. That was my first thing when I saw you on
Oh,
stage.
thank you.
I was like, yeah,
Did I host that night? I think I did. I host? I can't
nah,
remember.
Clayton host.
Clayton hosted. Okay, it was Clayton's show. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep, I remember now. Yeah.
My one little theater story, in high school, I was in drama and I was in Greece and I was in Wicked, and I'll never forget Wicked. That was mostly because I got to talk during that play. But I never forget, I went to Fairfield Central. It's a predominantly black school, and my drama
Yeah.
teacher was white. And she looked at the class, she looked at all of us, she did like this twice. And long story short, she told one of the girls, she was like, "Go get those two white boys out of the band." And the girl was like, "Why?" She was like, "Somebody has to play the flying monkeys."
That's true. That makes sense. You can't let black people be in the flying monkeys. You just
Yes.
can't.
Yes.
It's not right. What's also I found odd is that you guys did Grease, because that takes place in the 60s in high school, where there was a lot of racism and a lot of segregation at schools. There was no black people in Greece, like the original Greece, because they went to the other school probably. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes. Also, even in high school, I was like, this is kind of rapey. Like this is this
Super, super rapey,
I was like,
like real rapey.
I was like,
Like
okay, I get
the moral of the story for Greece is to be a whore. Like be a whore so everyone else accepts you. That's the moral of the story. Like that's it. Just be a whore, and John Travolta and all your friends will accept you. Just be a whore.
I'm talking about even the core when the person came in to like show us that what do our dance moves and get our steps in. It was a few parts where it was like, make sure you rub her this way. And I was just like, am I supposed to touch these people? I'm a senior, ma'am. I'm not touching this freshman like this. Like,
Yeah, it's pretty provocative,
yeah.
back to the monkey thing. Something I've noticed is ADT commercials or any security commercials, they will never ever cast a black dude breaking into a house. It's always like a real white guy, like breaking in, and he has like the typical burglar outfit on. And I'm like, you can't, like that's one role you'll never be allowed to have.
True, but I feel like if I went and looked at some 1970s commercial, it'd be some guy with an
Yeah.
afro going like, "They caught me, man." And you're right though. Like every
Yeah.
time it is a white guy, it's always a white guy that looks
Has
like
to
he
be.
sells life insurance. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like he's the most non-burglar looking dude. He looks like he's just your neighbor, and he's I don't know what he's doing in your house, but something's going on. I don't know.
Exactly.
It's weird. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. All right, man. Thank you for thank you for dropping those gems and also
Sure.
telling us your comic journey and your theater journey. Um, you chose Disney World, and we're going to discuss how it's influenced pop culture. Any special
Yeah.
reason why you chose that topic?
I think mainly because if I needed to talk about it without thinking about it, like I don't have to like prepare, like I just have it ingrained in my head. I think, growing up as a kid, I'll give you kind of the reason why I came up with that one was when I was a kid, I came from a very poor family, didn't have any money. And some reason though, we had the Disney Channel. This was back in the 80s when Disney was like a premium channel, like HBO. And Walt Disney, it was like those old black and whites, and Walt Disney would come out, on the reruns and like show what he was doing at Disney World, or hey, there's a new ride at Disney World. And then even after that, like they would show like a Disney cartoon, but then they would show like the new Splash Mountain ride or the Haunted Mansion. Like it was really just an advertisement for Disney World. So I lived in Colorado, and Disney World was far away, and there was no way in hell I was going. So when I was a kid, there was a library down the street from our house, a public library, and I would go to the library, and there's a book. It was like the ultimate guide to Disney World, and it was like one of those travel guide books, like a Frommer's guide, and I would check it out like every couple of weeks. Like I would just recheck it out, and I would like study it as if I was at Disney World. Like I would like pretend I was there. And so like I knew exactly where everything was at, what kind of refreshments you could get at different parts of the park. And then finally, when I was like 17, 18, my parents were like, hey, we're going to go to Disney World. And so it was pretty trashy. Like we were in this small little tiny car, and we drove from Colorado to Florida, like the five of us in this tiny little Chevy Sprint. And like we ate sandwiches like outside of the park. Like we would go ride some rides, and then it was like lunchtime, we'd go back out into the parking lot and eat like peanut butter jelly sandwiches and shit. But I knew everything about the park. Like I could walk around. I was like a tour guide. Like I could tell you exactly where the bathrooms were with my like blindfolded, because I knew
Nice,
everything about the place. Yeah.
nice, nice. So how many times have you been total?
Um, I would say probably, I don't have the exact count, but I would say somewhere between like 15 times probably.
Oh, congrats, bro. Nice.
Yeah, like it was pathetic. Like when I was stationed out in Germany in the military, and one time I took a vacation to Disney World. So not Euro Disney. Like I was right there. I was right next to the one in France, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna go back to Florida. So I could have went to like Austria, I could have went to Italy, Venice, the Louvre, but nope, I went to Disney World. Yeah,
Nice, nice.
yeah,
Hey man, if it made you happy, that's all that matters.
yeah.
I've
It
been
was, yeah, yeah. What
yeah,
about
I've,
you?
I've been 3 times. I remember so fondly my uncle the first time I went. I was 4, and some memories you just keep. And I can remember at 4 years old, my uncle being like, "Why the fuck is he here? He's not gonna remember this." And I don't remember
Yeah.
Disney World, but I definitely remember him saying that on the monorail. Like I remember it clearly. Just my uncle has one of those
See
voices that you don't forget. Like,
that's the mentality that some people have. Like my mom, the reason I think we were like I was 18 was my sisters were kind of young, and they're like, we're not going to go to Disney World if they can't remember it. And like everyone in my family, like because my kids have gone a few times, and they're like, why are you taking them? They're too young to remember. I'm like, well, they could have fun now.
yeah,
Like
like
it's okay. Like it's okay to let them go. It's kind of weird that people say that. It's funny.
yeah, it's Uh, yeah,
Do you
I really.
remember it though?
Oh
You
yeah, I've been
remembered
three.
it though.
Well, I don't. I remember that one time when I was four, but I've been three times in total. So I remember the two
So your
last two
uncle was
times.
right.
Yeah, yeah. But I definitely remember him like saying it, just like, why the fuck is he here? Like, but um, I'm pretty sure you know this, but I want to make sure let anyone listening, watching know. Uh, this is how big Disney World is. I don't know about Disneyland, but Disney World itself. Disney World is the same size as San Francisco.
Yeah, as far as the size of the physical area, yeah.
Yes, yes,
And
that is.
it's all swamp too.
Yep.
Uh all of it. Because what they did was Orlando, the state of Florida didn't want that land.
Hmm.
And he got it super cheap. It was like the Louisiana purchase of amusement parks. Like he got it super cheap because it was uninhabitable. So he had actually they spent millions of dollars to just raise the land. So everything is like, I think 20, 30 feet up,
Yep.
everything.
Yep. And
It
that
was all
helped with the
swamp.
tunnels. Yep.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yep. Yep. Last fun fact: Epcot has the second largest aquarium.
In the world, really. I didn't know
Yes,
that one.
which
I didn't know
it,
that.
which is hilarious because it's just like you. Why would it be there? But it's a weird flex, but it's there.
That's a weird flex. Here's a little thing about Epcot. So Epcot stands for Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow. That's what Epcot stands for. And I think Disney did a lot of weed because he was smoking one day and he's like, hey, I got an idea. He's like, I'm gonna make my own city and it's gonna be futuristic and I'm gonna call it the City of Tomorrow. And like the idea was 20,000 people are gonna live there. And then you would go and observe these people and they lived in like these little space ball like houses like the Jetsons. And the shit never worked. And so like he thought it was gonna be like that until he died because he died before Disney World opened, and
Yes,
that was like his
exactly.
last project. And so as soon as he died, they're like, okay, fuck this. Let's just make a park. Let's just make one ball, and we'll do some countries around it, and that's the park everyone can go to get drunk.
Yes,
Yeah,
they'd be like, "This is what he really wanted." Um, uh,
yeah, exactly.
yes, he died at 65 from lung cancer. So he never
Yeah,
he got to see Disneyland open because Disneyland opened in 1955, but he did not get to see Disney World open. Um,
yeah.
did you
He was a
read
huge
that?
smoker.
Yes.
Smoked a lot. And then so the archives of Disney, it's very rare when you find a picture of him smoking because they got rid of all of them.
Hmm.
Because I guess apparently he would always have a cigarette in his hand. So they either digitally took him out or they just never use those pictures. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Disney World used to sell cigarettes on Main Street.
Hell yeah.
Yes, like
That's crazy.
that's mind blowing to know. But
Yeah.
um, I like the fact that they really built everything slow when it came to Disney World. Like Magic Kingdom was first in 1971, then Epcot in 82, then Hollywood Studios in 1989, and then Animal Kingdom in 1998, which is funny. That's the year I went. Um,
Okay.
so out of all of those, do you love them equally or do you have a favorite?
I mean, Magic Kingdom, you got to give it to Magic Kingdom. I mean, it's got a little bit of everything. You know, it's the classic, the castle, and you got Thunder Mountain and Splash Mountain, and you got Space Mountain. It's the classic. But if I'm going like as an adult, like if I'm not bringing my kids and I want to have just a good fun day, I'll go to Epcot because I'll
Yes.
just drink around the world. I'll start in like Morocco and Mexico and then work my way around to like Canada and England and just get wasted. Yeah.
One side question. Just love to hear your the way you think about this. When you take
Yeah.
your kids, do you still consider it a vacation?
No, not at all. And I don't, if I have to see my in-laws, it's also not a vacation because I'm just working. I'm on shift. You know what I mean?
Yes, I told
Just
my
like my
fiance
kids.
that yeah, I told my fiance that we went to Charleston, and she was like, "This is just a good vacation for us." And my stepson was sitting right there, and I was like, we're not on vacation. I used to take vacations. You know what I like this.
Yeah,
We gotta
yeah,
have we got a responsibility right now. Like we can't just get high. Like we got to make sure this person eats and survives.
yeah. That and like if you're in a hotel room and your kids are in the same room, I'm not having a vacation because I'm not even getting the fuck right now. Like I don't. The kids are in the room. I'm not having a vacation. This isn't
I,
relaxing.
no,
And then
I
that's
got
what I hate when you have a newborn, because a newborn, every time you have time for a vacation, you got to go show everybody the kid. And so, like in the military, I think that's why we didn't call it vacation time. We called it leave. You just get to leave because that's all it was. Because you had to go see fucking family all the time. That's not vacation. I
true.
see them all the time. I don't want to see them. I left them when I turned 18. I don't want to go back to them, you know?
Yes, yes,
Mm-mm.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. I would love to see my friends that went off to like the military, like fresh out of high school. You see them like maybe a year later and be like, "I tell you, Mike, man, you guys gotta get the hell out of this town." I was like, "Okay, yeah,"
Yeah.
but they were
Like
right. Um, Staying in touch with the pop culture side, some of these
yeah.
rides became movies. A lot of them became horrible movies, uh, but
Horrible.
uh, but some of them became great movies. The one
Yeah.
example of a great movie is Pirates of the Caribbean. I
Yeah.
think they've really
Maybe the
knocked it out
first
the
one.
park. Yes, there we go. All right, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
Because then
yes,
they squeezed it. They squeezed
yes,
too much out of it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. They
Can't forget about Haunted Mansion with Eddie Murphy. That movie's
uh
trash.
oh, I tried to forget. I
Trash. And
yes,
then they got that Jungle Cruise movie. I'm sure it's trash.
no,
I'm
it's
sure
actually
it's
great, man. It's actually great. Can't
really.
front. Yeah, I was so surprised. The Rock is magic. I
Wow.
don't know.
The
Um,
Rock is magic. He is magic. He's a magic creature. He
yes.
is.
And then we have Tomorrowland. Did you ever get a chance to see that?
Ah, with Clooney. Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
never watched it. Never watched
yeah.
it.
Clooney couldn't Clooney, and that's the reason why. But even Clooney couldn't. Even
Couldn't
Clooney
even
couldn't
make it
fix.
work.
No, no,
Wow.
no.
They need
And
to
then
make a movie like a trash movie, they need to make one like based off of like a really whack ride. Like It's a Small World, the movie, or like the Tiki Tiki Room, the movie,
well, I
you
think
know.
well they did do that, man. Do you remember the Country Bears?
Oh, the Country Bear Jamboree. That and they made the Country Bear movie. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
Never
as a
mind. They
kid,
already made it off of.
yeah,
Yeah.
even as a kid, I was like, why is this a thing? Like,
It was bad. I just can't imagine like being in the 70s and being amazed by the Country Bears. Like don't get me wrong, like Chuck E. Cheese was pretty gangster in the 80s, the animatronic robot thing. But no, like it had to be cool at some point, maybe. Maybe it was the 70s.
yes. One side note about Chuck E. Cheese, I'm not gonna lie, man. I take my stepson about twice a month, and every time I'm like, man, this pizza tastes better in the '90s. I don't now it's just
Wow.
like, yeah, now I'm just like, this is not meant for adults.
Yeah, it's not meant for consumption. Like that
Yeah,
and like the the games they have at Chuck E. Cheese are so trash. Like
yes,
they're Chuck E. Cheese games. They're like push the button. It's called the button push game. And you're like, what do I do in this game? Oh, you push that red button. Oh, okay, what does that do? It just picks how many tickets you're gonna get.
yeah,
Like that ain't a fucking game.
yeah,
It's a
exactly.
ripoff.
I agree. Like, and I try my best not to take my stepson on Saturday. It's just weird because, like, I'm engaged, but when I take my stepson on Saturday, it's just like me and a bunch of divorced dads, and it's just like, buddy, I don't want to talk to you. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry it didn't work out. This is the most lonely Chuck and Cheese ever.
It's stepdads and divorced dads. That's
Yes,
it. That's
it's
the
just a
only
whole
ones
bunch of
there.
people. Yeah, it's just a whole bunch of people trying to have fun with the stepson, and a whole bunch of people warning them not to. And
Oh
yeah,
shit, that's funny. Like rooms to go. You know that
yes,
place?
yes.
You go there during the weekday and it's just guys that just got a divorce or got kicked out of their house and they're like, I need a room. Like give me I need a kitchen and a bed. Like that's the only people there.
It only hurts because I'm divorced and that joke is true. That's the only, that's the
That's the
only
only
reason why.
time I've been to rooms to go. Yeah.
Yeah. Spot on
Did I
that
hit?
joke.
I hit close. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that was very
true.
spot on. Walked right in there. Like, you know what happened. Show me your couch. uh,
Yeah, like, oh, this is a rooms to go couch. Okay, you got this after the divorce. Okay.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. One one step above Goodwill. Yes.
that's right.
And another ride that's not actually, I found out wasn't even based on a TV show. It was just inspired. Was Tower of Terror, which I enjoy that
Yeah,
ride. Even today, I enjoy that ride. Um,
yeah.
did really one of my favorite. What do you think that name is what made it popular, or do you think that ride would have just been popular without the Twilight Zone name attached?
I don't think it needed the Twilight Zone, but it was so different even for Disney, because Disney did some different things during that time when um I think his name, I'm trying to think, Rich Eisenberg or Rich Eisen. No, that's not Rich Eisen because that's the football guy. I can't think of his name, but
Ron
the
Sterling?
CEO.
Oh, never mind.
No, I can't think of his name. Anyway, there were some weird things that Disney did, a little more adult heavy, and they were trying to get teenagers and more thrill rides. But I think the theming of Tower of Terror is what makes it so dope. Because we've been on rides where you just drop and fall, but just the ambiance that the Tower of Terror had is what made it dope.
Nice, nice. And something I want to bring up that is so simple, but I think really sells Disney World, especially for kids, is fireworks. Like, it has some of the best fireworks shows I've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's so weird that not only do you get all these rides, you get the whole day of rides, and then on top of that, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna throw in a fucking gigantic fireworks show for you at the end of the day." That's crazy. Like, I don't even need the fireworks. Like, I'm happy, I'm good, I'm done with what I had to do. They're like, "Oh, hey, we're gonna do this for you too." I don't actually watch them usually because the crowd. I don't like sitting in that crowd, so I'll try to either watch them from the trick is you get on the monorail and you go over to the Hawaiian oh shoot, I can't think the
Okay, I know what you're
Hawaiian
talking
themed, yeah, the
about.
Hawaiian themed one.
Mhm.
And you sit on the beach right there and you can watch the fireworks right there because you can go to
Nice,
any hotel, you
nice.
can, yeah. I said,
Thank you for
what?
dropping that gem. Thank you so much for dropping
Yeah,
that gem. Everybody watching,
yeah.
listening, make sure you do that. That is, wow, that makes a lot of sense. Yes. Um, so moving to the resorts, because it's so many. Do you have a favorite?
Um, that's a good question. I think my favorite is I would say Animal Kingdom Lodge. It's so dope. It's so dope. Like, to get one of those rooms where you're on the safari. So you have a little balcony and there's like the wildebeest and the giraffes and stuff that come up right next to your room. That's pretty dope. And then they have like two or three restaurants inside that are all like African. Like, one's like an African like buffet, and then the other one's like a higher class one. And it's a beautiful hotel. That or the Contemporary, which is the one that you go through the monorail on. That one's also dope.
Nice. Oh, this isn't a dumb question, but when it comes to the Animal Kingdom Resort, is it ever an odor, or do they keep it pretty smelling normal?
That's a good question. I don't think I've actually smelt a whole lot of poo there because normally you get around like the gorillas or the monkeys and it smells like shit, like that or the giraffes. No, I don't think I smelt anything there. There's no funky smell there.
Cool.
No.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
Yeah.
Um, I think I've only been to two. I can't remember the first one. Like I said, I was four, but I went to the Pop Century Resort, and that
Yeah.
one's
Yeah.
is really based off like 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. And I remember that one was very nice. They were the staff was very nice, and I think that was the most important thing. And then everything else, even the bowling, yeah, the bowling ball, pool, and everything, it was very welcoming. Um,
Yeah.
Now, you seem like you know so much about this place. I'm so happy that you chose and that you know a lot of knowledge about it. Do you know? Because I don't, I couldn't find it anywhere. Well,
Yeah,
when did the rumor, or why did the rumor start that Walt Disney was buried there?
there's a lot of urban legends about that place. Um, there's a lot of them. That and like he's cryogenically frozen. I think they're just, you know, old wives' tales, or like, you know, just old, just rumors that end up becoming like myths. But I always hear a story about like someone that got murdered there and like killed in one of the swamps.
Mm.
Like it's always like a taxi driver that's like taking us from the airport, and they're like, "Oh, did you hear about this guy or that guy?" You know what happens a lot. Speaking of like dead people, is um, a lot of people try to bring the remains of their loved ones on the haunted mansion ride, and they'll try to spread the ashes. And it happens so often that they will close the ride down and like bring out a team to like clean up, and just, you know, of all the different cremation stuff. Happens all the time.
Damn.
I mean, it would be kind of dope to be spread at Disney World. I mean, that would be a pretty dope place to be, you know. I
Yeah,
would be okay with that.
yeah, true.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I also want to ask. I've been, like I said, I've been 3 times. Have you ever been? Well, you've been 15, so I'm sure yes. But have you actually been on Space Mountain? Because Space Mountain has always been broken.
Oh, really? Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, it's not like the McFlurry. It's
Okay.
open once in a while.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, no. Here's a little fact. The very top of Space Mountain, there's a basketball court, and there's just a little enough room for like a half court. And the employees that were making Disney World, Imagineers that were making Space Mountain, kept it up there, and they would play up there while they were building it, and then it just stayed up there. So still to this day, the backboard and everything is up there from the very
Nice.
top inside.
Nice. Nice. Um, of course, Walt Disney, when he had his idea, he'd already had his characters, and his characters definitely helped establish what Disney World is. He took a lot of inspiration from McDonald's and the way they used to have old commercials, but never actually had a place for kids to like go play. How important do you believe Disney characters are to Disney World?
I mean, they're the bread and butter. I mean, that's the cart before the horse. I mean, that was the horse before the cart. I mean, everything was founded on it, on a lot of IPs, on the different property, the intellectual properties. But at the same time, if you look at pictures back in like the at Disneyland back in like the 60s, the costumes were real creepy of like Mickey and Donald and stuff. And now that I think about it, even the original rides, none of the original rides were based off of any of the Disney characters. I mean, there wasn't like a Mickey ride or a Donald ride or none of that. I mean, it was all, um, you know, based. I mean, there was like the Peter Pan ride. That was one of the first rides, and Snow White had a ride. I don't know. It's a good question because I don't really give a shit about the characters. Like that's one thing that sucked when I ended up having a daughter, is that we had to go see all the princesses. And I'm like, man, like I had to waste fast passes to go see a princess. I'm like, this is trash, you know, like
Yeah.
super trash. I used to, it's the Polynesian Hotel, which is the hotel I was thinking about before. So go to the Polynesian and watch the fireworks from there. But yeah, I don't
Nice.
know. I don't care about the characters.
Nice.
I don't need them. I could live without them. Because now during COVID, they're not around anymore.
No.
Now they'll just visit you from like up on a roof, and they'll just wave at people. And I'm like, you should just keep it that way.
Nice.
I
Nice.
don't need to interact with them.
Nice. Nice. Uh, of course, everybody. I mean, some people love their job, some people hate their job. I love doing stand up. I love doing this podcast. I enjoy taking care of people. I even doing my real job, but I can't wait till I don't have to do it anymore, of course. But
Yeah.
the employees there, they're so nice. At least in my experience. Have you ever had any bad time there with employees?
No employees at Disney World. A few employees at Hollywood Studios,
Hmm. Okay.
which was super dope. Like quick story, we were there and at Islands of Adventure, which is over at Universal Studios, and they had a little kiosk that was selling like popcorn and ice cream. and they closed a little early. They closed it like before the park closed. So we walk up to it, and they just shut down the little plastic barrier. And we were like, hey, it's not 5:30 yet. And they kept pointing at the sign saying that. And so the person I was with was like, no, it's not 5:30 yet. It was like 5:20. And they're like this, just like showing their watch. And the guy mocked him. The guy that was behind the counter that worked there like mimed him and then flipped him off.
Oh.
And then, so my friends who were in the food and bev industry, so they love complaining. They went and talked to like one of the managers there, and we got like free tickets to the place. We had like VIP tickets to where we got in the front of the line to everything. We had free food vouchers. Like they hooked us up, and I'm pretty sure the dude got fired like right away, like that day that got removed. But yeah.
Yeah, you can't be flipping people off at work. That's just
Yeah, no, I mean, especially like, why are you work there?
yeah.
If but not at Disney. The only bad thing that ever happened to me at Disney was I was there with my first wife, and we get there and she's like, hey, I'm going to take our son to the pool. And I was like, oh, that's dope. And we just got there, and I was like, hey, I'm just going to stay here for a little bit. And she's like, okay, I'll meet you at the pool. So we just checked in. I get into the room and I take my clothes off because I'm about to get in my swimming trunks. And I just lay on the bed. I'm just laying there. And all of a sudden, this Korean family walked into our bedroom. And it was this old, like 75-year-old Korean woman, just sitting there looking at my ginger dong. And she's screaming. I'm like, whoa, hey, I'm trying to cover myself. So they double booked the room and gave them keys to the hotel room. And yeah. So we got a free night at the hotel. They were really apologetic. I felt worse for the Korean lady though.
Yeah, for real. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would have definitely been looking at like some brochures, like what did we pay for? Like what is about to happen?
What is this place? I didn't see anything about penises when we were coming here. I thought it was just rides.
Yes, like guys, I thought she'd be younger. I'm joking. Okay. Okay.
Exactly. I didn't order her.
Yeah.
She's supposed to be yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Um, cool. Um, Surprisingly, they do weddings. Have you been there for a wedding?
I've not. I tried to talk my wife into doing a wedding there, and she was like, fuck you, Josh. We're not getting married at Disney World. Because she doesn't love Disney World as much as I do. But no, I've not. I've not been to a wedding. I've seen some pictures of the weddings there. It's crazy what you can do and how expensive you can get. Like you can do $1 million weddings, tens of millions of dollars of like where you can actually get married in front of the castle. It's like 6 a.m. though before they open, but you can do it. You can get married right there.
Yeah, I looked that up, and it popped up when I was doing the research, and I was like, this is amazing. And then I remember my first marriage. We literally our honeymoon was at Myrtle Beach, so I was like, this is not where I am in life. Um,
Yeah.
cool, man. Is there anything else you would like to say about how Disney World has influenced pop culture?
No, I think, I think when it comes down to it, Disney World, everyone knows what Disney World is. Even if you've never been, you have some type of thought of what Disney is. Everyone has, and if you've ever been, everyone has some type of memory there. That is normally it's a happy memory. I mean, I know sad things happen at Disney World, but it has a pretty positive spin. And Disney, when it comes to pop culture in America, you can't have a discussion without Disney, especially now that they own everything. Now that they own like Marvel and they own, Star Wars. Soon they're going to probably, I don't know. It's crazy. They own everything. They own everything.
Yes,
It
but
was
they're
smart on
not a
their part.
monopoly. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Even though they own almost every intellectual property, they tried to get Harry Potter, and they didn't get it. They didn't get it.
But they
So
got the theme park though, right? Like they partner for the theme park, or that's somebody else.
no, that's Universal Studios.
That's
Yeah,
right. That's right. That's right.
yeah, yeah.
That's right. Cool. Well, guys, thank you so much, guys. That was us discussing how Disney World has influenced pop culture.